But then it got worse. Rather than respecting the American people and having an honest, at least partial conversation about what we had all seen, we were told immediately.
He has a stutter.
He hasn't debated in 4 years.
He was almost over-prepared.
He had an off night. People have an off night.
You know, the president traveled 6 time zones.
And you say you did notice he wasn't the same Joe Biden. But you know you're full of What it is you're losing. Donald Trump is going to win the election. I said it in 2016. I say it now. He's going to win the election.
Yeah, what a mess for Democrat. They have no good options. Will Biden be forced out if he refuses to back out? That is a question.
Dear fellow Americans, I just want to weigh in for a quick second on the left's meltdown over Joe Biden, which they've known for a couple of years, and which the general public knew for a couple of years, which all of you out there knew for a couple of years, which the insiders knew for a couple of years, and now they're panicking because Joe Biden is losing to Donald Trump. And my message to George Clooney, who I respect as an artist, of course, he's a very powerful figure in Hollywood, and all the rest of you that had that wonderful fundraiser that Jeff Katzenberg threw for you, didn't you stupid see that then? And you say you did notice he wasn't the same Joe Biden. But you know you're full of shit. What it is you're losing. Donald Trump is going to win the election. I said it in 2016. I say it now. He's going to win the election. And the problem is not Biden. The problem is the Democratic Party, which is a Marxist, communist party that has...
Yes, the kind of panic in the Democrat Party right now is concerning. Just in, Senator Chuck Schumer, one of the few voices considered close enough to Biden to swear his decision, has privately signaled to Donald he is now open to dumping Biden. This comes after Representative Pat Ryan became the 8th House Democrat to call for him to step down. I never thought there would be a day like this. Even Nancy Pelosi, a question surfaced to her. She was unable to say if Biden should continue or Biden should be able to decide what he wants. This is a clear sign that it is done with Biden. No.
President Biden is absolutely fit.
He has knowledge of the issues. He has strategic thinking about legislating. All in the head.
I have spoken with the president. He is fully coherent. He is on top of detail.
He's sharp. He's fit. He's always answering questions.
I think that Joe Biden's mental acuity is very, very on. He's one of the smartest, sharpest people I've met in D.C.
There's no doubt in my mind that the president is mentally fit for office.
Joe Biden rightly says that he has grown very wise in his many decades in public office.
As it stands today, you believe that President Biden is clear, candid, and convincing?
100%. Joe Biden needs to be allowed to be Joe Biden. He is energizing. He cares about issues. He's Joe Biden. And Joe Biden, there's nobody better than Joe Biden.
We see Joe Biden up close. We know how attuned he is to the issues, how informed he is. And I debate with him about legislation, and not debate, but discuss it with him. He's right there.
A few moments later.
They've seen President Biden. They've lived through his presidency. They've also seen former President Trump. They've lived through his presidency. They've heard these arguments about democracy, about the fate of the election. And yet Trump is not only winning, but winning increasingly by a larger margin. So what is the plan among Democrats to change that trajectory? It sounds like you're talking about saying and doing all the same things, but do you believe that something needs to change?
I think we need to keep working.
Yes, these are people, they were afraid to say Biden should step down. But from the look of things, they are changing their minds. If you look at their tone now, it is actually different from what they said at the beginning.
Your support to be the head of the Democratic ticket.
As long as the president it's up to the president to decide if he is going to run. We're all encouraging him to make that decision because time is running short. I think overwhelming support of the caucus. It's not for me to say. I'm not the head of the caucus anymore, but he's beloved. He is respected, and people want him to make that decision, not me.
He has said he has made the decision. He has said firmly this week he is going to run. Do you want him to run?
I want him to do whatever he decides to do, and that's the way it is. Whatever he decides, we go with. Let's just hold off. Whatever you're thinking, either tell somebody privately, but you don't have to put that out on the table until we see how we go this week.
Yes. What is funny here is that Biden said, I'm the nominee. I'm running. So I don't understand, the kind of meetings Nancy Pelosi is putting out here, like we are still going to do this, still going to do that. It is clear. Biden has made it clear. Even sent a letter to Congress. So if you are standing up to say Biden should back out, that is your personal business.
Now, what's interesting is, of course, Speaker Pelosi knows that Biden has already made his decision and announced his decision, saying that he's staying in the race. She knows that. Remember, he declared it publicly just last Friday. President Biden trying to assure folks concerned about his cognitive skills by saying that he's going to beat Donald Trump and win in 2020.
In response to those comments from George Clooney, Jake, a campaign official who attended that Los Angeles fundraiser tells me that George Clooney left 3 hours before the president. So clearly, the gloves are off. Jake?
But what does that mean, that George Clooney left 3 hours? What's the point?
The point of that is to suggest that Biden's stamina is better than Clooney's, and Clooney didn't have, eyes on the entire event. That's the response to the Clooney op-ed.
Okay.
Megan, let me read to you what the Democratic mega donor George Clooney wrote in this op-ed, very critical piece about this 2024 presidential contest. This is a direct quote. "We are not going to win in November with this president. On top of that, we won't win the House, and we're going to lose the Senate. This isn't only my opinion. This is the opinion of every senator and Congress member and governor that I've spoken with in private, every single one, irrespective of what he or she is saying publicly."
Yes, this same George organized a fundraiser to Biden, I think a few weeks ago. I think we saw a video, a viral clip, and they claim it was just the deep fake, where Obama was taking Biden away from the stage. This same person now is coming out to say Biden should drop out.
Bit of a time lapse on them, but I think you do see some clear patterns here. First of all, this one is obvious. Every poll since the debate has either had Donald Trump ahead of Joe Biden or a tie in one case. And most of these polls have shown some kind of a movement from toward Trump and away from Biden. Trump by 1 to Trump by 2, Biden by 2 to Trump by 2. Not all of them, but you see a pretty clear pattern. So I think what you see here is a Trump lead here. If you average these all together, his lead on average, Trump's is 3.4 points in the post-debate polling. And movement from the previous polls, about 2 points, about 1.5, 2 points of movement toward Trump since the debate. And it becomes a question for Democrats. How do you interpret that? I mean, some Democrats might make the case. You hear them making the case that
George Clooney.